What is happening, fellas? UFC 302 is this weekend. It's headlined by Dustin Poirier taking on Islam Makhachev. And this very may well be Poirier's last fight. Who knows?
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
This is 5 reasons why Dustin Poirier can win this fight and to finally strike the undisputed world championship that Poirier wants. He's stated multiple times this is the only reason why he's still fighting. He wants that undisputed belt wrapped around his waist. And this, like I said, 5 reasons why he can get it. Let's get right into the video, baby. Let's go! Reason number 1 Dustin Poirier can win this fight is his boxing skills. Dustin Poirier has a lot better boxing than Islam Makhachev. And Islam's not someone that has terrible boxing. I mean, look what he did to Alex Volkanovski. But Dustin Poirier is, I think, in my opinion, levels above where Islam's at right now. Dustin Poirier is arguably one of the best boxers in all of the UFC. And I think if he keeps this fight standing, he uses his head, he's smart, controls the distance against Islam, doesn't get taken down, just purely boxing, I think Dustin Poirier stands a great chance. But this is an MMA fight, and he's got to be able to defend the takedown. I think if he boxes Islam, I think he stands a very, very good chance. Honestly, maybe going to a decision, but the longer this fight goes on, Dustin Poirier's gas tank is also really high too. If he can just box the entire time, which is probably not going to happen, but if he can somehow manage that, I think he wins this fight by a lot. Reason number 2 Dustin Poirier can win this fight against Islam and finally strike undisputed world title gold is his experience. Dustin said it multiple times himself. He's had 50 professional fights, which is a shit ton. And you would think if someone has that many fights, he would, his chin would wear down, or the gas tank fades, or just skills fade, with age. But Dustin Poirier only seems to get better. Look at his last fight against BSD. I know BSD had some sort of staph infection or some sort of illness going into that fight, but he still fought. So I think that proves a lot what Dustin Poirier is still capable. He fought a young lion, he beat him, knocked him out, and I think his experience, he knows listen, Dustin Poirier has fought big fight after big fight after big fight, headlined multiple times on pay-per-views, has fought Conor, is one of the only people to have a trilogy with Conor, really. And Dustin Poirier, he learned from that first Conor fight, he lost to him back in 2014. I think that's what flipped the switch with him in terms of getting better and moving forward and learning to live in the spotlight. That fight taught him a lot. And ever since then, he's been fighting big fights, really since 2020. I mean, every fight he's fought has been either a headliner or a co-main, or at least on the main card of the pay-per-view. So to say Dustin Poirier does not have any experience over Islam Makhachev is just a complete nonsense tank in my mind. Now, obviously, Islam has experience himself. He's been the champion for a while. But a lot of people say he's an inactive champion, and he's not very, active at the top where he's fighting the top guys. I think Poirier needs to lean on that experience, obviously, and really live in that spotlight one last time so he can strike that undisputed gold. I think if he leans on his experience and, like we said previously, his boxing, I think he stands a really solid chance at beating Islam this fight. Reason number 3 Dustin Poirier can win this fight against Islam is he loves being the underdog. According to Vegas, Dustin Poirier is like a plus 400 favorite and Islam's like a minus 550 favorite. And DP's thinking about that. He was an underdog going into his fight against Benoit Saint Denis. He talked about it after the fight. He was like, you all should have put all your money on me because you would have made a shit ton. He's very aware of the odds. He's very aware of what this fight means. He's very aware of just the overall makeup of this fight. And I think he uses that as motivation this time around. He's been the underdog his entire life. He said it before. He's had a rough upbringing on the way to the top. He's fought the best. He's been the underdog many times before and he's won. I think that's what motivates him this fight, this camp. That's what gets him out of bed in the morning is he knows he's the underdog. So many people count him out. and he really uses that to his advantage. If you look at what UFC 300 was with Max Holloway wasn't as big an underdog as Poirier is now, but people were still counting him out. They said he was too small. Gaethje was going to kick away at those legs. Too much power for for Max to handle. And look at what Max did. He fought and he won. So I think Dustin Poirier uses the same thing that Max uses, whatever the fighters use in the back of their head, knowing they're an underdog. And I think he goes in there with nothing to lose. Reason number 4 why Dustin Poirier can win this fight, he's going to have to use his wrestling. Okay? Islam is going to take him down more than likely. He's going to have to defend his neck more than once, more than likely. He just cannot get choked out again. He got choked out in the championship fight against Charles Oliveira, multiple other times too. Like I'm just sick of seeing him just completely get dominated on the ground. The guy's a black belt, for crying out loud. So he really needs to focus on wrestling this camp, which I'm sure he did leading up to this fight. But I think if he can defend the neck and try to keep it on the feet for as long as possible, get points that way, throw some elbows in there, make Islam bleed a little bit, make him bruised up in front of the judges so it looks like he has more damage than what Poirier does, because Islam's going to obviously take him down. And I think, like I said, if he keeps the fight standing, I think he stands a very good chance. And he knows this. He's going to have to really work on his ground game this camp, because in fights past, it's not been the best. So, like I said, if he keeps his fight on the feet from the beginning, I think he stands a very good chance, but he's going to have to defend his neck. So that's why the 4th point is, Poirier, you better defend the neck, buddy. And last but not least, the 5th and final reason, and I think the most important, is what he's going to have to do to win this fight. Dustin Poirier, you have the motivation. I'm talking to you right now. You have the motivation to win this. You're 35. This could potentially be your last fight in all of UFC. You have a daughter. You want to be around for her afterwards. You're 35. This could potentially be your last fight. You need to have the motivation, and I think he does have the motivation. He said, I've listened to multiple interviews that he's done, and he said the only thing left to really accomplish is that undisputed world title. And I think he has all the motivation in the world to get it done. That's what's keeping him around, really. He wants one more title shot, and he's getting it. Is it deserved? I don't know. But he has the motivation. That's why I think he can win this more than ever, is because of that motivation. He wants that so bad. He's had so many opportunities. Well, not so many, but in terms of the sport, not many guys get a title shot. He's had a title shot multiple times, and he's lost every single time. So he has that motivation, I think. It's like, what do they say? What's that saying? The lion at the top of the hill never has as much motivation as the lion at the bottom climbing the hill, or something like that. Poirier has the motivation. He has everyone around him. He wants to win. He has the will to win. He wants to keep fighting. So I think that is the number 1 reason why he can win this fight, is that motivation for the undisputed world title. And that wraps up the videos. That's the 5 things Poirier needs to do to win this fight against Islam. I'm going to be betting Poirier heavy. I hope I don't eat my words after the fight on Saturday. But guys, this card is not the best. I mean, there's some decent fights on the undercard, but nothing I'm too crazy about. Poirier is personally my favorite fighter, so I'm super excited to see him hopefully win. I want him to win undisputed gold so bad. I'm going to be probably putting a pretty big bet on him, so hopefully I don't jinx him. I'm usually, if you guys know Book It with Trent on Twitter, I'm basically him. Everything I bet on, the opposite happens. So I'm almost kind of tempted not to put money on Poirier, but he's my boy. I have to ride with him. I have to have some stake in it. So Poirier, come on, baby. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Let's go. This is Out of Pocket Sports. We'll catch you in the next video.